was invented in ancient Egypt 5,000 years ago. Can you believe you are going to be known in history?
Artists from around the world are invited here at the Giza Plateau, Pyramids and Sphinx to showcase their artwork in dialogue with this amazing ancient Egyptian civilization.
Forever
Is now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to MentorTalks. My name is Asha Bay, and I'm joining you from the Office of Alumni Affairs in ECA at the U.S. Department of State. Our office opens the door to alumni networking, professional development, and grant opportunities. Where are you joining us from? Anyone here from Egypt? Let us know in the comments. MentorTalks is a virtual series that features exchange program alumni sharing their stories, mentorship, and advice. This is your opportunity to connect with these leaders and mentors, like today's guest, Dr. Zahi Hawass, a renowned archaeologist and Fulbright alumnus. Before we get into conversation with Zahi, we'd love to hear from you, our online viewers. What would you like to ask Zahi about? The Fulbright program, studying in the US, the discovery he made this year, the upcoming Forever Is Now exhibit? Send us your questions in the comments. Now let's turn to our guest. Zahi, welcome, and thank you for joining us for MentorTalks. I'm good. How are you?
I am fine.
You're joining us from Egypt, right?
Yes, of course, from Cairo.
Yes, from Cairo. Great. So you credit your Fulbright with changing your life and making you a good Egyptologist with a vision for the future. Can you tell us more?
It's true. You know, I got 2 years as a Fulbright fellowship. And I did go to University of Pennsylvania. And after that, the Egyptian government actually funded my fellowship. I stayed 7 years at the University of Pennsylvania. I have to tell you, the 7 years for me in Pennsylvania was really wonderful. The best thing when I walk at the university campus and someone will know that I'm a Fulbright scholar, I was welcomed by everyone. It seems that Fulbright scholar is something unique. But I have to tell you, the 7 years that I studied at the University of Pennsylvania, it changed my life in many things. Number one, I think I was taught how to give good public lectures. And this is why the way that I do give my lectures now in the States, sometimes my lectures attended by 4,000 people. I will never forget in my life when I went to Atlanta, Georgia to give a talk. It was at the Fox Theater. The Fox Theaters takes 4,700 seats. Then when I arrived, they told me your lecture sold out. I could not believe it. How someone lecture could be 4,700 seats. I went there, I saw a big sign, lecture is sold out. Before I gave the lecture, 3 young ladies, 8 years old, wrote to me to meet me. Then I told them, we'll call your names after I finish. We called their names, the 3 came to stage in front of me. And the middle one came and she told me, hug me. I went down, I did hug her. She said more. The audience felt what is happening. We had a standing ovation. And also, I was taught really how to can write quickly books. I wrote more than now 50 books, more than 200 scientific articles, more than thousands of popular articles in newspaper and magazines. And also taught me to be how to be a good scholar. And that really was very important to me, is for the first time to have an Egyptian who's really ruling antiquities. Because before me, actually, foreigners were controlling everything in antiquities. But that was the first time in my reign for 10 years to have a good cooperation with foreigners, but you give the directions to all of them. And I'm very proud to have this Fulbright fellowship and go to America.
That's great. That's quite an honor. And yes, Fulbright is special. It is one of our key exchange programs at the State Department. Yes, so, and I mean, you've had a really long and storied career. I mean, writing over 50 books, all these scholarly articles, and also you've had some TV shows, right?
Of course, I want to tell you, when I began to love antiquities, before I never really liked antiquities at all. Even I studied, I didn't like it. But when I was sent to do excavations, in the excavation, I found a statue in the middle of a tomb. I began to clean the statue, and this is when I said, I found my love. I had passion. In Washington, D.C., you have an organization called the Adventure of the Mind. They do bring every year in August 150 kids graduated from high school, and they bring them 30 famous Americans to live with them. I'm the only foreigner. The only thing that I teach, I tell them, if you have passion for anything small, you make it big. And that passion really, it changed my life. And this is why when I talk in the TV, as if I'm talking, the words comes from my heart. And it goes to the hearts of the people. Actually, I want to tell you that in Saqqara, I'm starting now to search for the tomb of Imhotep. And we are doing 5 episodes for Netflix. And I think the 5 episodes will really capture the hearts of people everywhere. Also, with the National Geographic, I'm searching through DNA and CT scan for the mummy of Nefertiti and the mummy of Ankh-Es in Amun, the wife or the queen of Tutankhamun. And we are going to announce for the first time how King Tut died. Because in November 4, 2022, we are going to celebrate the 100 years of the discovery. And therefore, in that day, I will announce to the whole world how Tutankhamun died. And also, the discovery of the Golden City. I just came from my excavation today. The Golden City is the most important discovery that I did. And actually, I'm doing a show for our Discovery Channel of the Golden City. Golden City is the second important discovery that happened.
And yeah, you just discovered that this year, right?
Yeah, just found it. In the same time, the big city, it has big area for industry, administrative, living. I found over 1,000 artifacts inside. Amazing discovery. You will not believe that something like this could be hidden under the sand. Also, I'm working inside the tomb of Ramses II. This tomb was completely damaged. We took 700,000 cubic meters of sand and stone rubble. If you see the tomb now, you will not believe. Beautiful scenes, incredible work. And this is why I really think that this year is the most important year in my life, because I'm doing great work. And of course, in the past, I did many TV shows with hundreds of shows with History Channel, National Geographic, Discovery Channel, Nova. And I really made something that I did not like, called Chasing Mummies, made by Leslie Gray from Los Angeles. But even I hated that. It was a reality show. And the people around me were actors I really do not know. And this is why I was insulting them every morning. But that show, I really, it made my fame.
Yes, I think it did. But I mean, you've done, well, I was going to say, you've really put a spotlight on Egypt and the antiquities there, and also now you're about to do this art exhibition at Giza, and that's like the first international art exhibition there. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, this is Nadine Abdul Ghaffar. She's the one who really created these ideas. She began to show art inside Islamic Cairo. And this is Nadine. I was in Los Angeles in August, and we did a press conference at the house of the Egyptian ambassador in LA. And that was very important to announce this important. I'm going to actually to Moscow on the 26th of this month. And Nadine is coming also to make a big announcement about that. Then Nadine showed art of artists inside Cairo Museum, Islamic Cairo, the Manuel Palace. And now, for the first time, artists will show their art on the shadow of the Great Pyramid of Khufu, one of the 7 wonders of the world that still exist until now. And this is why really I believe that every artist who will come to Egypt, he's going to see his name to be engraved in gold in history.
And how did you come up with the title for this exhibit, Forever Is Now?
It's really not me. It's Nadine. Nadine is the one really who gave this title, Art to the Egypt, Forever Is Now. I really loved it very much. And when me and Nadine began to announce for this important event and the art and the sculpture of famous artists, I really think that all these artists will do something amazing. I'm going to meet all of them in front of the Sphinx at 7 in the morning, giving everyone a lecture, having great dinners, the show. Then we thought, I and Nadine, to be in front of the Sphinx and to announce forever, and she say, is now. And this is why I really think that 2 words entered in the hearts of people everywhere.
Okay. So we have a limited time to talk to you. So we're going to go to some of our viewer questions right now. We have one from Willie who asks, what is it like to make the discoveries you've made in Egypt?
When I open a tomb and I see for the first time a statue, it captured my heart. In Saqqara, recently, I found a shaft 120 feet down. When I enter that shaft on a basket down, this basket could be broken. I could die. But the thrill of the discovery makes me happy. And it gives something in my heart that no one really can feel. I can feel that. I want to tell you something, and no one really can believe this. I do not believe that I live in this world. I really believe that I'm still living in the world of the pharaohs. In my dreams, in my sleep, in my writing, when I wake up, I do not know how to communicate with people today because I live with those great people who created great civilization. If you ask a child on the age of 8, Egypt, he will tell you Khufu Pyramid, the Sphinx, mummies, King Tut. I was in Cortona, Italy last week. You cannot believe how much people love Egypt and how the Egyptian civilization captured their hearts.
So what would be your career advice for someone who wants to get into archaeology? How do they start?
I really advise that something you have to study first. You have to go, if you live in almost in every city in Europe and America, you have an Egyptology department. But the most important thing is passion. You can study. You have hundreds of people who study Egyptology. But my advice, if you have passion, it will make you a great archaeologist. And also, it can take you to the top always because of that passion. And I think the secret on my thing is really this passion. You know, I give lectures. There is many American groups come to Egypt, and there is a tour company asking me to give lectures for them. But they tell the people in the States, come meet Zahi Hawass. We receive almost, even in the time of the corona, I gave a talk last night at 8 in the evening inside Luxor temple. And 2 days ago, at 7 in the morning, between the two poles of the Sphinx. Can you believe if someone will be, I will never forget when I took President Obama between the two poles of the Sphinx, and he told me, I never thought in my life that I will be in that place. When I took Will Smith, I met him when me and him was chosen in 2006 as top 100 influential people by Time magazine. And we had dinner in a table together. And he told me, I would love to visit Egypt. 11 years later, he came. I took him at 6 in the morning in front of the Sphinx. And it was an incredible visit.
Wow. I could just imagine. I bet you saw the sun coming up and everything.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
To have the sunrise in front of the Sphinx and the pyramid, it's really something amazing.
Yeah.
Asha, have you been in Egypt?
I have not. That is,
oh, God.
That I know. I need to come, right?
You should come in October for this event.
I could try. Maybe my office will send me. But so you've met a lot of famous people, including Princess Diana.
Oh, yes. I met many kings and queens, and also actors, Jacqueline Bassett, Danny Glover, Kurt Russell. Recently, I met Katy Perry, but I did not recognize her. But I did recognize her boyfriend, Orlando Bloom. And also, I had a big fight with Beyonce. Because her guard hit my photographer. Then I almost met every famous person who comes to Egypt.
Wow. And you show them around and everything?
Yes, but with Obama, I took him to a tomb. And he turned it to the other side, and he saw hieroglyphic letter. It's called Her. It's a face. And Obama looked at it. He said, I look like this. And I tell Mr. President, it's true. You look like this. And we laughed. And I gave him a copy of my hat as a gift.
Ah, okay. That's a great hat. So what's been your most significant discovery or excavation to date, and why?
I really believe I made two important discoveries in the past. The first one was the discovery of the tombs of the pyramid builders. Because this discovery was very important in a time that people always talk about aliens built the pyramids and lost civilization and things like that. Then that discovery was very important in a time to use it to tell the people that the builders of the pyramids were Egyptians and the builder of the pyramids were not slaves. And the second important discovery is the valley of the Golden Mummies. I found a big valley of mummies covered with gold. And recently, I'm excavating now in the Valley of the Kings, looking for the tomb of the Queen Nefertiti. And I hope that soon to discover this tomb. But the third important discovery is the Golden Lost City that I found in Luxor. Also, with CT scan and DNA, I found the mummy of Queen Hatshepsut. I found the family of Tutankhamun. With new technology, we're able to reveal many secrets of the pharaohs. Exactly. This is perfect. That is the mummy of Tutankhamun. When I put this mummy under the CT scan, the CT scan was stopped. And that was the first time in my life to think there is a curse of Tutankhamun.
Oh, really?
The machine was brand new. Why it stopped? But after 1 hour, the machine did work.
There might be something there. Yes. So, and I think part of the role that you've been playing is you've been helping preserve cultural heritage in Egypt. What's the role that each of us can play in preserving cultural heritage in our own countries?
Do you know, my role as a head of antiquities, and even until now, is really the restoration and the conservation of the Egyptian monuments. I started with the Sphinx. The Sphinx was completely damaged by bad restoration, but I was able to return the image of the Sphinx in a great important conservation. And actually, I will never forget in my life, with the bad restoration, the Sphinx lost its right shoulder. And I looked at the Sphinx, I felt inside me that the Sphinx was crying. But for 10 years, I restored the Sphinx. I looked at the Sphinx, I felt that the Sphinx was smiling. What I want to say, the Sphinx is not a stone, it's a living stone. And I have to thank USAID actually, because they did give me a big fund to stop the leaking of the water table around the antiquity sites. And that really saved the Egyptian monuments. We are planning now to open the Avenue of the Sphinxes that connecting the Temple of Karnak with the Temple of Luxor, 2,700 meters with the statues. Also, in November 4th, 2022, we'll open the Grand Museum. And that will be the most important project that we are doing. I started the construction of this museum in 2002, and I was planning to open this museum in 2015, but the trouble that we had in 2011 stopped that. But I want to tell you that our President Sisi, is really keen in opening that museum, and he will make a kind of 10-day celebration, inviting people from everywhere. And the construction of this museum cost us more than $1 billion. And this to show that Egypt is really keen on the conservation and the restoration of the Egyptian monuments, because the Egyptian monuments do not belong to us only. It belongs to the people all over the world.
That's a good way of looking at it. So everyone can come and see the monuments and enjoy them. So, yeah, and I wanted to ask you, in the promo for the Forever Is Now video, you say that art was invented in ancient Egypt.
It's true. If you look at architecture, the first architect on earth who made a pillar of stone and a pillar and a ceiling of stone was Imhotep, a genius architect who actually invented the construction of stone, and he built the step pyramid. The other thing, you look at statues that was made by sculptors 5,000 years ago. And if you look at a statue of Khafre, the builder of the second pyramid, the statue is made of diorite, and you see the hook in the head of the king. If you look at the hook in the head of the king, you can actually feel that the hook is taking the king and flying with him up to the sky. Then the ancient Egyptian artists put blood, real blood, in art to make it live. And this is why the ancient Egyptian actually invented art.
Okay, so it looks like we're just about out of time. Before we go, what would be your number one tip for someone who wants to get into archaeology or wants to follow in your footsteps, or
I think they should go to my website to read what's happening, and they should go to study Egyptology. And I said again, passion. If they have the passion, they can go.
Okay, passion, yes. And that's what fueled your career through these years.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. Great. Thank you so much, Zahi.
Thank you very
for being
much.
With us.
Was really happy talking to you.
Yes, it was great talking to you too. And I also wanted to
Thank
thank our online viewers for participating. Be sure to keep your calendar open. Okay. Be sure to keep your calendar open for our next Mentor Talks when we sit down with U.S. Department of State Deputy Spokesperson Jelena Porter. Interested in learning more about our awesome exchange alumni? You can visit our website at alumni.state.gov and follow us on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for watching, and see you all in October for our next Mentor Talks.
Art was invented in ancient Egypt 5,000 years ago. Can you believe you are going to be known in history?
Artists from around the world are invited here at the Giza Plateau, Pyramids and Sphinx to showcase their artwork in dialogue with this amazing ancient Egyptian civilization.
Forever
Is now.